I want you to do something for me right now. Pick up a glass of water. Hold it out in front of you. Now imagine dropping it. You know exactly what happens. It falls. It shatters. Water goes everywhere. 100 pieces of glass scatter across the floor. Now I want you to imagine that video playing in reverse. 100 shards of glass leap from the floor. They fly together perfectly. The glass assembles itself. The water rises up from the floor, climbs back into the glass, and you are holding it again, intact, full, exactly as it was. You know that is wrong. You feel it in your gut. That is not how time works. But here is what Richard Feynman discovered, and what has kept physicists awake for 100 years. If you zoom in on the atoms of that glass and film what they are doing, and then play that film backward, you cannot tell the difference. At the atomic level, the past and the future are identical. Every equation that governs every atom in that glass works perfectly in both directions, forward and backward. There is nothing in the laws of physics, not Newton, not Einstein, not quantum mechanics, that says time must flow forward. The arrow of time, the reason yesterday is behind you and tomorrow is ahead, does not come from physics. So where does it come from? Let's start with the physics itself. In Feynman Lectures Volume 1, Feynman points out something that should disturb you deeply. Every fundamental law of physics we have ever discovered is time symmetric. Newton's laws of motion, if you film two billiard balls colliding and play the film backward, the reversed collision obeys Newton's laws perfectly. You cannot tell which direction is forward. Maxwell's equations of electromagnetism. Every electromagnetic interaction, light bouncing off a mirror, electrons pushing each other apart, works identically in reverse. Einstein's equations of general relativity. Time symmetric. Schrödinger's equation of quantum mechanics. Time symmetric. The deepest laws we know, the rules that govern every particle in the universe, have no preference for forward or backward. They treat both directions of time as equally valid. Run any physical process at the atomic level in reverse, and it is indistinguishable from a valid physical process running forward. So here is the problem. You watch a glass fall and shatter, and you know with absolute certainty that you are watching it forward, not backward. The reversed version looks obviously wrong, but the atoms don't know that. The atoms in that glass are following laws that have no arrow, no direction, no preference. So where does your certainty come from? It comes from one place, one law, one principle that stands apart from all the others, the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy is the most misunderstood word in physics. Most people think it means disorder, chaos, things falling apart. That is not what it means. Entropy is the number of ways a system can be arranged. Let me make that concrete. A glass, intact, sitting on a table, can only be arranged in a small number of ways. The atoms have to be in roughly those positions for the glass to look like a glass. A shattered glass, pieces scattered across the floor, can be arranged in an almost infinite number of ways. The shards can land here or there, at this angle or that angle, in a trillion different configurations, and all of them count as shattered. Now here is the critical point. At the atomic level, every possible arrangement of those atoms is equally probable. Any specific configuration, whether intact or shattered, has the same microscopic probability as any other specific configuration. But there are vastly more ways to be shattered than intact. If you start with an intact glass and let the atoms evolve randomly, the overwhelmingly likely outcome is that you end up with more arrangements, more entropy, not fewer. This is not a law of physics in the fundamental sense. It is a law of statistics, of probability, and it is the only reason time has a direction. The arrow of time points in the direction of increasing entropy, not because the laws of physics demand it, but because there are so many more ways to be disordered than ordered, that moving toward disorder is overwhelmingly more probable. The reversed glass video looks wrong because it would require the atoms to spontaneously move into one of the vanishingly rare configurations we call intact. Possible? Yes. Feynman would confirm it. Likely? So unlikely that in the entire lifetime of the universe, it would essentially never happen. You don't remember the future for the same reason. Your brain is a physical system running in the direction of increasing entropy. The process of forming a memory increases entropy in your brain. Memory only forms in the direction time is flowing. Here is where it gets stranger. Even if we accept that time has a direction set by entropy, it turns out that time does not even tick at the same rate everywhere. Einstein proved this. Time is not a universal river flowing at the same speed for everyone. It is flexible, it is local, it is personal. There are two ways time slows down. First, velocity. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. This is special relativity. A clock on a fast-moving spacecraft runs slower than a clock on Earth, not because of mechanical failure, but because time itself is running slower. Second, gravity. The stronger the gravitational field you are in, the slower time runs for you. A clock at sea level runs slower than a clock on a mountaintop because the gravitational field is stronger at sea level. This is not theoretical. It is measured every day. GPS satellites orbit the Earth at high altitude and high speed. Both effects apply. Altitude makes their clocks run fast. Speed makes them run slow. The net result is that GPS clocks gain 38 microseconds per day compared to clocks on the ground. 38 microseconds sounds tiny, but GPS relies on timing signals accurate to nanoseconds. Without correcting for Einstein's relativity, every single day, GPS errors would accumulate to more than 10 kilometers per day. Your phone knows where you are because engineers understood that time runs differently depending on where you are and how fast you are moving. Time is not a background. It is part of the fabric of the universe. It bends, it stretches, it slows. And it has a direction only because of entropy, not because of any deeper law written into space-time itself. Here is what Feynman himself said about all of this. In his lectures, Feynman called the arrow of time one of the greatest mysteries of physics. Not a solved problem, not a settled question, a genuine open wound in our understanding of the universe. He pointed out that the second law of thermodynamics, the increase of entropy, only works as an arrow of time if you accept that entropy was very low at the beginning of the universe. Think about that. Entropy increases, always. That is the arrow. But for entropy to have been increasing for 13.8 billion years, it must have started very low. The Big Bang must have begun in an extraordinarily ordered, low entropy state. Why? We don't know. Physics can tell you that entropy increases. It cannot tell you why the universe started in a low entropy state that allowed increasing entropy and therefore time itself to exist. This is not a gap in our knowledge that will be filled next year. It is one of the deepest unsolved questions in all of science. Feynman said the first principle is that you must not fool yourself. And the comfortable illusion we live with is that time is obvious, that past and future are natural, self-evident, built into the fabric of reality. But they are not. Past and future are built into entropy, and entropy is built into a mystery we cannot yet explain. The universe, at its deepest level, has no arrow. Only you do. So pick up that glass again. Look at it. The atoms inside it are following equations that do not know which direction time flows. They are equally prepared to go forward or backward. They have no preference, no memory, no sense of before or after. The only reason that glass falls down and not up, the only reason it shatters and does not reassemble, is that there are trillions of more ways to be shattered than intact. Statistics, not physics, gives time its direction. And somewhere in the equations, in the pages of Feynman's lectures where he stared at this problem and called it the greatest mystery in physics, the universe is perfectly, symmetrically, permanently indifferent to whether time goes forward or back. It is only entropy that points the arrow, and it is only you, a temporary, improbable arrangement of low entropy atoms, who experiences the difference between yesterday and tomorrow. The universe doesn't have a past or a future. It has only now, and even that physics cannot fully explain.